excited to have Mark, the incredible quilting Marine, here with us again on At Home. Mark, thank you so much for being here.
No worries, Misty. Good to see you.
It's always great to see you and Yvonne and catch up with you guys. So I appreciate you being willing to come back now that I have my new show. You joined us for live a while back, and it's great to have you again.
Of course, I got your back no matter what.
You're the best. You're the best. Well, so I would love if you would tell people just a little bit about your background and your story and what brought you to quilting in case they didn't see our first conversation.
Okay, my name is Mark, also known as the Quilting Marine. I have the Quilting Marine channel on YouTube where I try to share my quilting experience with veterans. I want to support veterans and what they do, try to get them out of the rut that I was in for a long time. I suffered a lot of damage mentally, and quilting saved my life. And how I got into it, my grandson was being born. I wanted to get him a gift that couldn't be bought off a shelf. And I thought, man, quilt should be a good thing to give him. Little did I know, it was a lot more than just building a quilt. And I started building a quilt in my wife's kitchen, had a rotary cutter. I was on her island, cutting up the island, didn't know anything about a self-healing mat. I was just winging it. And
oh no!
weeks later, I had a quilt, but we didn't have an island anymore because it was all carved up. But
well, and clearly you have a good wife.
Yeah. I definitely do.
That's so great. I love that so much. And I mean, I think it's such a testament to how healing quilting can be, and what a gift that you found that in your life. It's just amazing.
Yeah. Yes. Had I known about quilting a long time ago, man, I'd probably be much more, well, what do you say, notorious? Yeah, notorious at quilting.
Oh, I think you're pretty notorious now. You do an incredible job, and I know so many of us love watching what you do. It's truly amazing. So thank you for being willing to share what an impact it's had on your life. I know, when you joined us last time, people just loved hearing your story and what a difference it's made. And so I just appreciate it so much. And we just encourage anyone who might be struggling to start playing with some fabric, right?
Yeah, cut it, sew it together. That's
yeah, exactly. So Mark, your magic is kind of in crumb piecing, right? That's what you do.
Yeah, I mean, crumb piecing, I fell in love with it. I call it my emotional blocks because I can come in here for hours, just crumb piece and just forget about. I leave everything at the door anyway, but when I come in here and I'm carrying more than I should, I crumb piece and it helps me. And actually crumb piecing for me is the most relaxing. Piecing and when you're building a quilt, the piecing portion of quilting is my favorite because I get to zone out and concentrate on that. And the concentration I use in that helps me, leave things at the door. And I'm kind of like, I'm known as the crumb piece guy. I asked my wife the other day, like, how did I become the crumb piece guy? And she said, look on the wall. Okay, I get it.
It's true, and you do such a beautiful work with it, and I just always love to see what you're making. Okay, so let's dive into this project we're going to be making today. As you can see, hanging behind Mark are these beautiful crumb piece skateboard blocks that he has made. We put together this beautiful fabric bundle of fat quarters from Wilmington Essentials. It's called Dry Brush in the Park. It's got some really fun colors and fabrics that you can see. And I have to be honest, I feel like I kind of cheated because I did not crumb piece my block. I just used the straight fat quarters and made this block really quickly. So let me show you how easy it is to make. And Mark, while I start cutting this out, maybe you can talk a little bit about your crumb piecing and how you do it.
No worries. So
okay,
all I did was I took out the fat quarters and I just sliced them all up, put them in a pile, and then just start drawing from the pile. And what you do is you put them together. Eventually you'll have a piece like that, and then it just starts growing. Right? So to keep it from being too symmetrical, what I'll randomly do is just grab a piece and just cut it in half. and then place it somewhere else. And then eventually we'll have multiple pieces, and we just start attaching them until I can get to the measurement that I want. And then I square it off to the skateboard.
So I have a question. When you were working on this, did you make like one giant piece of fabric and then cut out your skateboard sizes, or did you just make a bunch that were close to the size you needed?
Bunch to the close to the size that I needed.
Okay, that's how I would have done it too. I was just curious.
Misty, I tried to go with the big. I tried to go with the big one, but it just took over the table. So I was like, okay, I'll just keep it simple.
Keep it more manageable. That makes sense. All right, well, I have my piece here. So as Mark said, he just made pieces large enough to cut his section. And what we're looking for is 9 inches wide by 18 inches long. And so whether you're making it with crumbs or straight from your fat quarters, I've got my fat quarter on the fold here. And I am just going to go ahead and cut off this selvage end. And then I'm going to count over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm going to double check that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes, that is right. And so now we can make a cut. And so you can see out of each fat quarter, you can easily get 2 of your skateboards, essentially. And then we're going to turn this because we want it to measure 9 by 18. This is still on the fold, so I just need to measure over now another 9 inches. And when I open it up, it will be the measurement we need. So I can trim that off. Whoops. Missed a little spot. My blade must be getting dull. There we go. And so here is the center of our skateboard. It's ready to go. Ta-da! And so then the next step is we're just going to take some 1.5 inch squares, and I have those cut and ready to go. And we are going to put those on every single corner, and we're just going to sew corner to corner. Is that how you did it?
Even more simpler than that. You know what I did? I cut a strip like, look, I believe in working smarter, not harder. So on what I did was I laid this across in a diagonal. And I stitched it, and then I just folded it over. Okay, well, let me cut my square first, and then I'll show you what I did.
Okay. We'll wait till you catch up. So I just have my 1.5 inch cut, and I'm just going to go ahead and lay it on the corner. And I am going to use my diagonal seam tape to sew from point to point. That's how I did mine. But I'm excited to see how you did yours. So he's going to finish his crumb piecing and then cut out the 9 by 18.
18. Over here.
Yeah. And I'll just keep adding these to the corners. I love to see all those crumbs. It's distracting me from my sewing because I just like to see how awesome yours looks. It almost sparkles. I love it. That looks so great. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and trim off my seam allowance so that I just have 1/4 inch and we can get rid of the rest of that fabric. There we go. And one more. There it is. You about ready, Mark?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. So do you want to show everybody your 9 by 18 section?
On my, okay, 9 by 18.
Awesome. And then show us how you did your corners.
All right, so Really, all I did was I would cut a strip, 4-inch strip, 4-inch by 4-inch, and I just placed it on the corner in an angle. See, can you see that there?
Yeah.
Okay, so I try to keep it simple for me, and all I did was I stitched across, then I folded it, and then I would square the corner off.
I love that. Well, and it fits so much with your style, because you like that kind of free crumb piecing. It's just a little bit more free.
I'm not following any rules.
I love that. I love that. And you still get a beautiful result in the end. I mean, it looks great.
I will cut the corner off. I love simple, okay? And then it may be a little bit more work. I'm sure it's a little bit more work, but for me, now
it makes sense to your brain.
Yeah, and square it off. That's it.
I love that. Well, so now that we have the center of the block done, I'll let you keep working on that, and I'm going to talk a little bit about our strip set for the wheels, because I think you and I did that part the same. So what I have here is, this is our strip set, and I've cut some sections off, so this is shorter, but obviously when you make this would be the full length of your strips that you cut out of your accent and your background fabric. So the white is our background, the black for the wheels is what I used as my accent. And so what I have here is, let me just lay it over here to make sure you guys can see it. Okay, so I have a 2.5-inch strip, a 3.5-inch strip, an 8-inch strip in the middle, again with our 3.5-inch accent, and a 2.5-inch background. And so I just sewed all of those together, and like I said, I did the full width of fabric for those cuts and made this big strip set, and then you just go and subcut all of your sections for your wheels. So now that I have this, because I like to make shorter cuts, I did go ahead and fold mine. If folding it makes you nervous, you can just use a longer ruler and make one long cut as you're cutting this section. I just like to have less room for error, so I just have it folded nice and straight on my mat. And then for each one of our blocks, we're going to measure over 1.5 inches, and we're going to need 2 of these per block, 1 for each side. So there's 1, 2, and you can see if you have this strip set, you could just keep going, and it makes that wheel section of the block come together really fast, because instead of sewing all these individual pieces together, we've made this great big strip set, and then we're cutting our sections. So I have these ready to go for mine. Mark's working on his corners. And then I'm going to go ahead and start sewing these right sides together. I do want to point out that I did press my seams to the dark side, so in towards the wheel. It's not for any real purpose. I'm not nesting the seams with anything, but I just wanted the bulk of that fabric to be hidden behind the dark. So I did take the time to do that. And then we're just going to line this up with the end of our skateboard here and add the wheels. Just make sure that's nice and straight, and we're just using a 1/4-inch seam. Just took a few to get started, and now we can sail down. There's one side. You can just kind of flip that back to get an idea of how it's going to look, and then we'll turn it around and do the other side as well.
Okay, so I'm trying to catch up here.
Oh, you're doing great.
We're moving here. We're moving. So second set, put this on.
Perfect. We are almost all caught up.
Let's see.
And then now we can just press these back. You can see what a nice big block this is and how quickly it comes together. Ta-da! All right, so now that I have mine done, Mark, you want to walk us through yours? Let's see how yours turned out. It looks so great. I love how that crumb piecing just adds such an element to it. It looks like the bottom of a skateboard deck. We have skateboarders at my house. My son Ezra skateboards, my husband skateboards. Even my daughter has been known to hit the park.
How does your husband skateboard with a beard that long?
You know, that is a good question. It never stops him. So does your grandson skateboard that you chose to put his name in there?
Son skateboards and his boys skateboard. So yeah,
I love that. That's part of why I wanted to make this block, because we have lots of skateboarders, like I said, in our family, and I think that you use the pre-cut prefused letters to add his name, and so I have some of those there. We just put this together here at Missouri Star. This is an exclusive alphabet pre-cut prefused applique pack that we have available, and there's multiples of every letter, so you can do lots of projects with this pack. I mean, as you can see, it comes with a wide variety of extra letters, so no matter what you're spelling, you have what you need. And so I've gone ahead and pulled out letters to spell Ezra's name. I'm going to add that to this block here. Actually, I'm going to switch it out and use this green one that I made earlier, because I think he'll really like the green. And then let's just go ahead and add those letters really quick. And so if you're not familiar with the pre-cut prefuse applique, it is exactly like it sounds. The adhesive fusible is already attached to it. And so you're just going to peel off that paper backing and just line it up on your project. And there we go. And they peel really easy, and it leaves the glue on the back side of those letters. And then you can just space them or eyeball. If you want to take some time to measure, you can. But I think that looks pretty good. And so now I have my letters. I'm back over here at my pressing mat. I'm just going to straighten them out. And then I can just hit this with a nice hot dry iron. And they just fuse on there just like that. Now, Mark, when you did your letters, how did you finish off the edges? Did you do a zigzag, blanket stitch? What did you choose? Nothing? You didn't. You just left it. Hey, that's totally fair. That's totally fair.
Look, because I did it this morning, pretty much, to be honest.
Okay, so you just haven't got to that part yet. That is totally fair. I love it. So depending on your preference, there's lots of choices. You could do a satin stitch. You could do a blanket stitch. A lot of people, if you like the raw edge look, you can just come in just a tiny bit and do a straight stitch just to secure those down. So I think no matter what you choose, it's going to look great, and it just is going to help hold that as it goes through the wash and gets lots and lots of love and use, which is what we always want when we're making a quilt. And so you can see how easy it is to put those on. It turns out really quick. Mark, any other tips or tricks you want to share for this project?
Take your time, have fun. It's a fun block to build. Smile while you do it.
Yes, I love that. That is such great advice. Well, Mark, thank you so much for being here again and for making this quilt with us.
No worries.
I just think the world of you, and hopefully we'll get you to Hamilton in person soon.
It's on the schedule because I gotta come see that beard in real life.
I will.
job.
I will tell him for sure. Thank you guys so much for being here, and we will see you next time on At Home with Misty.
Thank you.
Hey everyone, it's Misty. Thanks for watching At Home. If you aren't already a part of our Missouri Star family, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell if you want a notification every time we release a new video. I'll see you next Monday on the newest episode of At Home.